The cat is a domestic species of small carnivorous mammal. It is the only domesticated species in Felidae, is often referred to as the domestic cat to distinguish it from wild members of the family. A cat can either be a house cat, a farm cat, or a feral cat. The latter ranges freely and avoids human contact. Domestic cats are valued by humans for companionship and their ability to hunt rodents. About 60 cat breeds are recognized by various cat registries. The cat is similar in anatomy to other felid species. It has a strong, flexible body, quick reflexes, sharp teeth, and retractable claws adapted to killing small prey. Its night vision and sense of smell are well developed. Cat communication includes vocalizations like meowing, purring, trilling, hissing, growling, and grunting, as well as cat-specific body language. A predator that is most active at dawn and dusk, the cat is a solitary hunter, but a social species. It can hear sounds too faint or too high in frequency for human ears, such as those made by mice and other small mammals. It secretes and perceives pheromones. Female domestic cats have kittens from spring to late autumn, with litter sizes often ranging from 2 to 5 kittens. Domestic cats are bred and shown at events as registered pedigreed cats, a hobby known as cat fancy. Failure to control breeding of pet cats by spaying and neutering, as well as abandonment of pets, resulted in large numbers of feral cats worldwide, contributing to the extinction of the entire bird, mammal, and reptile species and invoking population control. Cats were first domesticated in the Near East around 7,500 BC. It was long thought that cat domestication was initiated in ancient Egypt, as since around 3,100 BC, veneration was given to cats in ancient Egypt. As of 2021, there are an estimated 220 million owned and 480 million stray cats in the world. As of 2017, the domestic cat was the second most popular pet in the United States, with 95 million cats owned. In the United Kingdom, around 7.3 million cats lived in more than 4.8 million households as of 2019. Etymology and naming. The origin for the word cat, Old English cat, is thought to be the late Latin word catus, which was first used at the beginning of the 6th century. It was suggested that the word catus was derived from an Egyptian precursor, Coptic, I don't know how to pronounce that, tomcat, or its feminine form suffix with T. The late Latin word may be derived from the Afro-Asiatic or Nilo-Saharan language. The Nubian word Cadiska, wildcat, or Nubian Cadis, are possible sources of cognates. The Nubian word may be a loan from Arabic, Qat. It is equally likely that forms may derive from an ancient Germanic word ported into Latin and thence Greek to Syriac and Arabic. The word may be derived from Germanic and Northern European languages and be borrowed from Uralic, Northern Sami, I don't know how to pronounce it at all, female stoat, Hungarian Holgi stoat, or from Proto-Uralic Kadwa, female of a furred animal. The English puss, extended as pussy or and pussycat, is attested from the 16th century and may be introduced from the Dutch pose, or Low German puskat, related to Swedish kattipus, or Norwegian puss, or puskat. Similar forms exist in Lithuanian pultsi, or Irish pulsin. I don't know. The etymology of this word is unknown, but it has simply arisen from a sound used to attract a cat. A male cat is called a tom, or tomcat, or gib if neutered. An unspayed female is called a queen, especially in cat breeding context. A juvenile cat is referred to as a kitten. In early modern English, the word kitten is interchangeable with the now obsolete word catling. A group of cats may be referred to as a clouder or a glaring. Taxonomy. The scientific name Felis catus was proposed by Carl Linnaeus in 1758 for a domestic cat. Felis catus domesticus was proposed by Johann Christian Polycarp Exelbin in 1777. Felis daemon, proposed by Konstantin Alexeyevich Santunin in 1904, was a black cat from Transcaucasus, later identified as a domestic cat. In 2003, the International Commission of Zoological Nomenclature ruled that the domestic cat is a distinct species, namely Felis catus. In 2007, it is considered a subspecies, F. sylvestris catus of the European wildcat F. sylvestris, following the results of phylogenetic research. In 2017, the IUCN Cat Classification Task Force followed the recommendation of the ICZN regarding the domestic cat as a distinct species, Felis catus. Evolution. The domestic cat is a member of Felidae. A family had a common ancestor 10 to 15 million years ago. The genus Felis diverged from Felidae about around 6 to 7 million years ago. Results of phylogenetic research confirm that the wild Felis species evolved through sympatric or parapatric speciation, whereas the domestic cat evolved through artificial selection. The domesticated cat and its closest wild ancestors are diploid, like all mammals, and possess 38 chromosomes and roughly 20,000 genes. The leopard cat, Pronarius bengalensis, was tamed independently in China around 5,500 BC. This line of partially domesticated cats leaves no trace in domestic cat populations of today. Domestication. The earliest known indication for taming of an African wildcat, F. libica, was excavated by a human Neolithic grave in, I can't pronounce it at all, Shiloh-Rocambos, southern Cyprus, dating around 7,500 to 7,200 BC. Since there is no evidence of native mammalian fauna on Cyprus, the inhabitants of the Neolithic village most likely brought the cat and other wild animals to the island from the Middle Eastern mainland. Scientists therefore assume that African wildcats were attracted to early human settlements in Fertile Crescent by rodents, in particular the house mouse, Musculus, and were tamed by Neolithic farmers. The commensal relationship between early farmers and tame cats lasted thousands of years. As agricultural practices spread, so did tame and domesticated cats. Cats of Egypt contributed to the maternal gene pool domestic cat at a later time. The earliest known evidence for the occurrence of the domestic cat in Greece dates around 1200 BC. Greek, Phoenician, Carthaginian, and Etruscan farmers introduced domestic cats to southern Europe. During the Roman Empire, they were introduced to Corsica and Sardinia before the beginning of the first millennium. By the 5th century BC, they were familiar animals around settlements in Magna Graecia and Etruria. By the end of the Roman Empire in the 5th century, the Egyptian domestic cat lineage had arrived in the Baltic Sea in northern Germany. During domestication, cats have undergone only minor changes in anatomy and behavior and are still capable of surviving in the wild. Several natural behaviors and characteristics of wildcats have pre-adapted them for domestication as pets. These traits include small size, social nature, obvious body language, love of play, and relatively high intelligence. Captive leopardus cats may also display affectionate behavior towards humans but are not domesticated. House cats often mate with feral cats, producing hybrids such as Callis cats in Scotland. Hybridization between domestic and other feline species is also possible. Development of cat breeds started in the 19th century. An analysis of the domestic cat genome revealed that the ancestral wildcat genome was significantly altered in the process of domestication, as specific mutations were selected to develop cat breeds. Most breeds are found on random bred domestic cats. Genetic diversity of these breeds varies between regions, and the lowest in purebred populations show more than 20 deleterious genetic disorders. Characteristics. Size. The domestic cat has a smaller skull and shorter bones than the European wildcat. It averages about 46 centimeters, or 18 inches, in head-to-body length, and 23 to 25 centimeters, 9 to 10 inches in height, with about 30 centimeters, 12-inch long nails. Males are larger than females. Adult domestic cats typically weigh between 4 and 5 kilograms, 9 and 11 pounds. Skeleton. Cats have cervical vertebrae, as do most mammals. 13 thoracic. Humans have 12. 7 lumbar vertebrae. Humans have 5. 3 sacral vertebrae, as do most mammals, but humans have 5. And a variable number of caudal vertebrae in the tail. Humans only have vestigial caudal vertebrae fused into the internal coccyx. The extra lumbar and thoracic vertebrae account for the cat's spinal mobility and flexibility. Attached to the spine are 13 ribs, the shoulders, and the pelvis. Unlike human arms, cats' forelimbs are attached to the shoulder by free-floating clavicle bones, which allow them to pass their body through any space which they can fit their head. Skull. The cat skull is unusually long in mammals, in having very large eye sockets and a powerful specialized jaw. Within the jaw, cats have teeth adapted for killing prey and tearing meat. When it overpowers its prey, a cat delivers a lethal neck bite with its 2 long canine teeth, inserting in between the prey's vertebrae and severing its spinal cord, causing irreversible paralysis and death. Compared to other felines, domestic cats have narrowed spaced canine teeth relative to their jaw size, which is an adaptation to their preferred prey of small rodents, which have small vertebrae. The premolar and first molar together compose the carnassial pair on each side of the mouth, which efficiently shears meat into small pieces like a pair of scissors. These are vital in feeding, since cats' small molars cannot chew food effectively, and cats are largely incapable of mastication. Although cats tend to have better teeth than most humans, with decay generally less likely because of a thicker protective layer of enamel, less damaging saliva, and less retention of food particles between teeth, and a diet mostly devoid of sugar, they are nonetheless subject to occasional tooth loss and infection. Ambulation. The cat is digitigrade. Walks on the toes with the bones of its feet making up the lower part of the visible leg. Like most mammals, it uses a pacing gait and moves both legs on one side of the body before the legs on the other side. It registers directly by placing each hind paw close to the track, the corresponding forepaw, minimizing noise in visible tracks. This also provides sure footing for hind paws when navigating rough terrain. As it speeds up walking to trotting, its gait changes to a diagonal gait. The diagonally opposite hind legs and forelegs move simultaneously. Claws. Cats have protractable and retractable claws. In their normal relaxed position, the claws are sheathed with the skin and fur around as toe pads. This keeps the claws sharpened by preventing wear from contact with the ground and allows the silent stalking of prey. The claws on the feet are typically sharper than those on the hind feet. Cats can voluntarily extend their claws on one or more paws. They may extend their claws in hunting or self-defense, climbing, kneading, or for extra traction on soft surfaces. Cats shed the outer layer of their claw sheaths when scratching rough surfaces. Most cats have 5 claws on their front paws and 4 on their rear paws. The dew claw is proximal to the other claws. More proximally is a protrusion which appears to be the 6th finger. The special feature of front paws on the inside of the wrists have no function in normal walking, but is thought to be an anti-skidding device used while jumping. Some cat breeds are prone to having extra digits, or polydactyly. Polydactylous cats occur along North America's northeast coast and in Great Britain. Senses. Vision. Cats have excellent night vision and can see only 1/6 the light level required for human vision. This is partly a result of cat's eyes having a tapetum lucidum, which reflects any light that passes through the retina back into the eye, thereby increasing the eye's sensitivity to dim light. Large pupils are an adaptation to dim light. The domestic cat has slit pupils, which allow it to focus bright light without chromatic aberration. At low light, a cat's pupils expand to cover most of the exposed surface of its eyes. However, the domestic cat has rather poor color vision and only 2 types of cone cells, optimized for sensitivity to blue and yellowish green. Its ability to distinguish between red and green is limited. A response to middle wavelengths from a system other than rod cells might be due to a 3rd type of cone. However, this appears to be an adaptation to low light levels rather than representing true trichromatic vision. Hearing. The domestic cat's hearing is most acute in the range of 500 Hz to 32 kHz. Can detect an extremely broad range of frequencies ranging from 55 Hz to 79,000 Hz. It can hear a range of 10.5 octaves, while humans and dogs can hear about 9 octaves. Its hearing sensitivity is enhanced by its large movable outer ear, the pinnae, which amplifies sounds and helps detect the location of the noise. It can detect ultrasound, which enables it to detect ultrasonic calls made by rodent prey. Cats have an acute sense of smell, due in part to their well-developed olfactory bulb and a large surface of the olfactory mucosa, about 5.8 centimeters, or 29/32 of a square inch in area, which is about twice that of humans. Cats and many other animals have a Jacobson's organ in their mouth that is used in the behavioral process of phlegming. I've not heard that before. It allows them to sense certain aromas in the way that humans cannot. Cats are sensitive to pheromones such as 3-mercapto-3-methibutene 1-OL, which they use to communicate through urine spraying and marking with scent glands. Many cats respond strongly to plants that contain nepentolate, I don't know how to pronounce that, especially catnip, as they can detect that substance at less than 1 part per billion. About 70 to 80% of cats are affected by nepentolactone. This response is also produced by the other plants such as silver vine, Actinidia polygama, or the herb valerian. It may be caused by the smell of these plants mimicking a pheromone and stimulating cats' social or sexual preferences. Taste. Cats have relatively few taste buds compared to humans, 470 or so versus more than 90,000 on the human tongue. Domestic and wild cats share a taste receptor gene mutation that keeps their sweet taste buds from binding to sugary molecules, leaving them unable to taste sweetness. Their taste buds instead react to amino acids like protein and bitter tastes. Cats also have a distinct temperature preference for their food, preferring a food with a temperature of around 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is similar to that of a fresh kill and routinely rejecting food presented at cold or refrigerated, which would signal to the cat the prey is long dead and therefore possibly toxic or decomposing. Whiskers. To aid with navigation and sensation, cats have movable whiskers, vibrissae, over their body, including especially their faces. These provide information on the width of gaps and locations of objects in the dark, both by touching directly and by sensing air currents. They also trigger protective blink reflexes to protect the eyes from damage. Balance. Most breeds of cat have a noted fondness for sitting in high places or perching. A higher place may serve as a concealed site from which to hunt. Domestic cats strike at play by pouncing from a perch such as a tree branch. Another possible explanation is that height gives the cats a better observation point, allowing it to survey its territory. A cat falling from heights up to 3 meters, or 9.8 feet, can right itself and land on its paws. During a fall from a high place, a cat reflexively twists its body and rights itself on its feet using its acute sense of balance and flexibility. This reflex is known as the cat righting reflex. A cat always rights itself in the same way during a fall, if it has enough time to do so, which is the case in falls of 90 centimeters or 2 feet 11 inches or more. How cats are able to right themselves while falling has been investigated as the falling cat problem. Behavior. Outdoor cats are active both day and night, although they tend to be more active at night. Domestic cats spend the majority of the time in the vicinity of their homes, but can range many hundreds of meters from this central point. They establish territories that vary considerably in size, one study ranging from 7 to 28 hectares, or 17 to 69 acres. The timing of cats' activity is quite flexible and varied, which means house cats may be more active in the morning and evening as a response to greater human activity at these times. Cats conserve energy by sleeping more than most animals, especially as they grow older. The daily duration of sleep varies, usually between 12 and 16 hours, with 13 and 14 being the average. Some cats can sleep as much as 20 hours. The term catnap for a short rest refers to a cat's tendency to fall asleep lightly for a brief period. While asleep, cats experience short periods of rapid eye movement sleep, often accompanied by muscle twitches, which suggests that they are dreaming. Sociability. The social behavior of the domestic cat ranges wildly dispersed individuals to feral cat colonies that gather around a food source based on groups of cooperating females. Within such groups, one cat is usually dominant over the others. Each cat in a colony holds a distinct territory, with sexually active males having the largest territories, which are about 10 times larger than those of female cats, and may overlap with several females' territories. These territories are marked by urine spraying, by rubbing objects at head height with secretions from facial glands, and by defecation. Between these territories are neutral areas which cats watch and greet one another without territorial conflicts. Outside these neutral areas, territory holders often chase away stranger cats, first by staring, hissing, and growling, and if that does not work, by short but noisy, violent attacks. Despite this colonial organization, cats do not have a social survival strategy or pack mentality and always hunt alone. Life in proximity to humans and other domestic animals has led to a symbiotic social adaptation in cats. Cats may express great affection toward humans or other animals. Ethologically, the human keeper of a cat functions as a sort of surrogate for the cat's mother. Adult cats live their lives in a kind of extended kittenhood, a form of behavioral neoteny. Their high-pitched sounds may mimic the cries of a hungry human infant, making them particularly difficult for humans to ignore. However, some pet cats are poorly socialized. Particular older cats show aggressiveness towards newly arrived kittens, which may include biting and scratching. This type of behavior is known as feline asocial aggression. Domestic cats' scent-rubbing behavior towards humans or other cats is thought to be a feline means of for social bonding. Communication. Domestic cats use many vocalizations for communication, including purring, trilling, hissing, growling/snarling, grunting, and several different forms of meowing. Their body language, including position of ears and tail, relaxation of the whole body, and kneading of the paws, are all indicators of mood. The tail and ears are particularly important social signal mechanisms in cats. A raised tail indicates a friendly greeting, and flattened ears indicate hostility. Tail raising also indicates the cat's position in social hierarchy, with dominant individuals raising their tails less often than subordinate ones. Feral cats are generally silent. Nose-to-nose touching is also a common greeting and may be followed by social grooming, which is solicited by one of the cats raising and tilting its head. Purring may have developed as an evolutionary advantage as a signaling mechanism of reassurance between mother cats and nursing kittens. Post-nursing cats often purr as a sign of contentment while being petted, becoming relaxed, or eating. The mechanism by which cats purr is elusive. The cat has no unique anatomical feature that is clearly responsible for the sound. Grooming. Cats are known for spending considerable amounts of time licking their coats to keep them clean. The cat's tongue has backwards facing spines about 500 nanometers long, which are called papillae. These contain keratin, which makes them rigid. The papillae act like a hairbrush. Some cats, particularly long-haired cats, occasionally regurgitate hairballs of fur that they've collected in their stomachs from grooming. These clumps of fur are usually sausage-shaped and about 2 to 3 centimeters, or 3 to 1 1/4 inches long. Hairballs may be prevented with remedies that ease the inhalation of hair through the gut, as well as regular grooming of the coat with a comb or stiff brush. Fighting. Among domestic cats, males are more likely to fight than females. Among feral cats, the most common reason for cat fighting is competition between two males to mate with a female. In such cases, most fights are won by the heavier male. Another common reason for fighting in domestic cats is the difficulty of establishing territories within a small home. Female cats also fight over territory or to defend their kittens. Neutering will decrease or eliminate this behavior in many cases, suggesting that this behavior is linked to sex hormones. When cats become aggressive, they try to make themselves appear larger and more threatening by raising their fur, arching their backs, turning sideways, and hissing or spitting. Often the ears are pointed down and back to avoid damage to the inner ear and potentially listen for any changes behind them while focused forward. They also may vocalize loudly and bare their teeth in an effort to further intimidate their opponent. Fights usually consist of grappling and delivering powerful slaps to the face and body with the forepaws as well as bites. Cats may also throw themselves into the ground in a defensive posture to rake their opponent's belly with their powerful hind legs. Serious damage is rare, as the fights are usually short in duration, with the loser running away with little more than a few scratches to the face and ears. However, fights for mating rights are typically more severe, and injuries may include deep puncture wounds and lacerations. Normally, serious injuries from fighting are limited to infections, scratches, and bites. These can occasionally kill cats if entreated. In addition, bites probably the main route of transmission of feline immunodeficiency virus, or FIV. Sexually active males are usually involved in many fights during their lives and often have decidedly battered faces with obvious scars and cuts to their ears and nose. Let me see how much I have left. Okay, it's not too bad. Alright. Hunting and feeding. The shape and structure of cats' cheeks is insufficient to suck. They lap with their tongue to draw liquids upwards into their mouths. Lapping at a rate of 4 times a second, the cat reaches the smooth tip of its tongue to the surface of water and quickly retracts it like a corkscrew, drawing water upwards. Feral cats and free-fed house cats consume several small meals in a day. The frequency and size of meals varies between individuals. They select a food based on its temperature, smell, and texture. They dislike chilled foods and respond most strongly to moist foods and rich in amino acids, which are similar to meat. Cats reject novel flavors, a response termed neophobia, and learn quickly to avoid foods that have tasted unpleasant in the past. They also avoid sweet foods and milk. Most adult cats are lactose intolerant. The sugar in milk is not easily digested and may cause soft stools or diarrhea. Some also develop odd eating habits and like to eat or chew on things like wool, plastic cables, paper, string, aluminum, or even coal. This condition, pica, can threaten their health depending on the amount and toxicity of the items eaten. Cats hunt small prey, particularly birds and rodents, and are often used as a form of pest control. Cats use 2 hunting strategy, either stalking prey actively or waiting in ambush until an animal comes close enough to be captured. The strategy used depends on the prey species in the area, while cats waiting in ambush outside burrows, but tending to actively stalk birds. Domestic cats are a major predator of wildlife in the United States, killing an estimated 1.4 to 3.7 billion birds and 6.9 to 2.7 billion mammals annually. Certain species appear more susceptible than others. For example, 30% of house sparrow mortality is linked to the domestic cat. In the recovery of ringed robins, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, Dunix, Prunella modularis, 31% of death result of cat predation. In parts of North America, the presence of larger carnivores such as coyotes, which prey on cats and other small predators, reduce the effect of predation by cats and other small predators such as opossums and raccoons on birds' numbers and variety. Perhaps the best known element of cats' hunting behavior, which is commonly misunderstood and often appalls cat owners because it looks like torture, is that cats often appear to play with their prey before releasing it after capture. This cat and mouse behavior is due to an instinctive imperative to ensure that the prey is weak enough to be killed without endangering the cat. Another poorly understood element of cat hunting behavior is the presentation of prey to human guardians. One explanation is that cats adopt humans into their social group and share excess kills with others in the group according to the dominance hierarchy, in which humans are reacted to as if they are at or near the top. Another explanation is that they attempt to teach their guardians to hunt or to help their humans, as if feeding an elderly cat or an inept kitten. This hypothesis is consistent with the fact that male cats also bring home prey, despite males having negligible involvement in raising kittens. Impact on wildlife. On islands, birds can contribute to as much as 60% of a cat's diet. In nearly all cases, however, the cat cannot be identified as the sole cause for reducing the number of island birds. In some instances, the eradication of cats has caused a mesopredator release effect, where the suppression of top carnivores creates an abundance of smaller predators that cause a severe decline in their shared prey. Domestic cats are, however, known to be a contributing factor to the decline of many species, a factor that has ultimately led, in some cases, to extinction. The southern island Poipio, Cothram Trail, and New Zealand merganser are a few from a long list, the most extreme cases being the flightless Lyall's wren, which has been driven to extinction only a few years after its discovery. One feral cat in New Zealand killed 102 New Zealand lesser short-tailed bats in 7 days. In the U.S., feral and free-ranging domestic cats kill an estimated 6.3 to 2.23 billion mammals annually. In Australia, the impact of cats on mammal populations is even greater than the impact of habitat loss. More than 1 million reptiles are killed by feral cats each day, representing 258 species. Cats have contributed to the extinction of the Navassa curly-tailed lizard and the Chinia coctae. I don't know how to say that one either. Play. Domestic cats, especially young kittens, are known for their love of play. This behavior mimics hunting and is important in helping kittens learn to stalk, capture, and kill prey. Cats also engage in play fighting with each other and with humans. This behavior may be a way for cats to practice their skills needed for real combat and may reduce any fear they associate with launching attacks on other animals. Cats also tend to play with toys more when they are hungry. Owing to their close similarity between play and hunting, cats prefer to play with objects that resemble prey, such as small furry toys that move rapidly but rapidly lose interest. They become habituated to a toy they have played with before. String is often used as a toy, but if it is eaten, it can become caught at the base of the cat's tongue and then move into the intestines, a medical emergency which can cause serious illness, even death. Owing to the risk posed by cats eating string, it is sometimes replaced with a laser pointer's dot, which cats may chase. I'm going to drink a little bit of Gatorade. Lifespan and health. The average lifespan of pet cats has risen in recent decades. In the early 1980s, about 7 years, rising to 9.4 in 1995 and 15.1 in 2018. Some cats have been reporting as surviving into their 30s, with the oldest known cat, Cream Puff, dying at a verified age of 38. Spaying or neutering increases life expectancy. One study found neutered male cats live twice as long as intact males, while spayed female cats live 62% longer than intact females. Having a cat neutered confers health benefits because castrated males cannot develop testicular cancer. Spayed females cannot develop uterine or ovarian cancer and both have reduced risk of mammary cancer. Disease. About 250 heritable genetic disorders have been identified in cats, many similar to human inborn errors of metabolism. The high level of similarity between the metabolism of mammals allows many of these feline diseases to be diagnosed with using genetic tests that were originally developed for use in humans, as well as the use of cats as animal models in the study of human diseases. Diseases affecting domestic cats include acute infections, parasitic infections, injuries, and chronic diseases such as kidney disease, thyroid disease, and arthritis. Vaccinations are available for many infectious diseases as treatment to eliminate parasites such as worms and fleas. Why is this so long? Ecology. Habitats. The domestic cat is a cosmopolitan species and occurs across much of the world. It is adaptable and now present on all continents except Antarctica and 118 of the 131 main groups of islands, even on isolated islands such as the Kerguelen Islands. Due to its ability to thrive in almost any terrestrial habitat, it is among the world's most invasive species. As it is little altered from the wildcat, it can readily interbreed with the wildcat. This hybridization poses a danger to the genetic distinctiveness of some wildcat populations, particularly in Scotland and Hungary and possibly the Iberian Peninsula. It lives on small islands with no human inhabitants. Feral cats can live in forests, grasslands, tundra, coastal areas, agricultural land, scrublands, urban areas, and wetlands. Feral cats. Feral cats are domestic cats that were born in or have reverted to a wild state. They are unfamiliar with and wary of humans and often roam freely in urban and rural areas. The number of feral cats is not known, but estimates of the United States feral cat population range from 25 to 60 million. Feral cats may live alone, but are mostly found in large colonies, which occupy specific territory and usually associated with a source of food. Famous feral cat colonies are found in Rome around the Colosseum and Forum Romanum, with cats at some of these sites being fed and given medical attention by volunteers. Public attitudes towards feral cats may vary wildly, ranging from seeing them as free-ranging pets to regarding them as vermin. One common approach to reducing the feral cat population is termed as trap, neuter, return, where the cats are trapped, neuter, immunized against diseases such as rabies, feline panleukopenia, and leukemia viruses, and then released. Before releasing them back in their feral colonies, the attending veterinarians often nips the tip off of one ear to mark it as neutered and inoculated, since these cats may be trapped again. Volunteers continue to feed and give care to these cats throughout their lives. Given this support, their lifespans are increased, and behavior and nuisance problems caused by competition for food are reduced. Some feral cats can be successfully socialized and retamed for adoption. Young cats, especially kittens, and cats who have had prior experience in contact with humans are the most receptive to these efforts. Interaction with humans. Cats are common pets throughout the world, and their population as of 2007 exceeded 500 million. Cats have been used for millennia to control rodents, notably around grain stores and aboard ships, and both uses extend to the present day. As well as being kept as pets, cats are used in the international fur and leather industries for making coats, hats, blankets, and stuffed toys, and shoes, gloves, and musical instruments, respectively. About 24 cats are used to make a cat fur coat. This use has been outlawed in the United States, Australia, and European Union in 2007. Cat pelts have been used for superstitious purposes as part of practice of witchcraft, and are still made into blankets in Switzerland as folk remedies believed to cure rheumatism. In Western intellectual tradition, the idea of cats as everyday objects has served to illustrate problems of quantum mechanics in the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment. A few attempts to build a cat census has been made over the years, both through association or national and international organizations such as the Canadian Federation of Humane Societies as one, and over the internet. But such a task does not seem simple to achieve. General estimates for the global population of domestic cats range wildly from anywhere between 200 to 600 million. Walter Chandoha made his career photographing cats after his 1949 images of Loco. An especially charming stray taken in were published around the world. He's reported to have photographed 90,000 cats during his career and maintained an archive of 225,000 images that he drew for the publication during his lifetime. Cat show. A cat show is a judged event in which the owners of a cat compete to win titles in various cat registering organizations by entering their cats to be judged after a breed standard. It is often required that a cat must be healthy and vaccinated in order to participate in the cat show. Both pedigreed and non-purebred companion Moggy cats are admissible, though the rules differ depending on the organization. Competing cats are compared to the applicable breed standard and assessed for temperament and apparent health. The owners of those judged must be the most ideal are awarded a prize. Citation needed. Moggies are judged based on their temperament and healthy appearance. Some events also include activity judging, such as trained navigation of an obstacle course. Often at the end of the year, all of the points accrued at various shows are added up, and more national and regional titles are awarded to champion cats. Citation also needed. Cats can be infected. Infections transmitted from cats to humans, also known as feline zoonosis. Cats can be infected or infested with viruses, bacteria, fungus, protozoans, arthropods, or worms that can transmit diseases to humans. In some cases, the cats exhibit no symptoms of the disease. However, the same disease can then become evident in a human. The likelihood that a person will become diseased depends on the age and immune status of the person. Humans who have a cat living in their home or in close association are more likely to become affected. However, those who do not keep cats as pets might also acquire infections from cat feces and parasites exiting the cat's body. Some of the infections most include salmonella, cat scratch disease, and toxoplasmosis. History and mythology. In ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped, and the goddess Bastet often depicted in cat form, sometimes taking on the warlike aspect of a lioness. The Greek historian Herodotus reported that killing a cat was forbidden, and when a household cat died, the entire family mourned and shaved their eyebrows. Families took their dead cat to the sacred city of Bubastis, where they were embalmed and buried in sacred repositories. Herodotus expressed astonishment at the domestic cats in Egypt because he had only seen wild cats. He'd only ever seen wild cats. Ancient Greeks and Romans kept weasels as pets, which were often seen as their ideal rodent killers. The earliest unmistakable evidence of the Greeks having domestic cats comes from 2 coins in the Magna Graecia dating to the mid-5th century BC, showing Leucastos and Philanthos, the legendary founders of Rhegium and Tars respectively, playing with their pet cats. The usual Greek word for cat was ailoros, meaning thing with the waving tail. The cats are rarely mentioned in ancient Greek literature. Aristotle remarked in his History of Animals that female cats are naturally lecherous. It's a good word. The cats later syncretized their own goddess Artemis with the Egyptian goddess Bastet, adopting Bastet's association with cats and ascribing them to Artemis. In Ovid's Metamorphoses, when the deities flee to Egypt and take animal forms, the goddess Diana turns into a cat. Cats eventually displace weasels as the pest control of choice because they are more pleasant to live around the house and more enthusiastic hunters of mice. During the Middle Ages, many of Artemis's associations with cats were grafted onto the Virgin Mary. Cats are often shown as icons of Annunciation and of the Holy Family. According to Italian folklore, on that same night that Mary gave birth to Jesus, a cat in Bethlehem gave birth to a kitten. Domestic cats were spread throughout much of the rest of the world during the Age of Discovery, as ship's cats were carried on sailing ships to control shipboard rodents as good luck charms. Several ancient religions believe cats are exalted souls, companions, or guides for humans that are all-knowing but mute, so they cannot influence decisions made by humans. In Japan, the maneki neko is a symbol of good fortune. In Norse mythology, Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, is depicted as riding a chariot drawn by cats. In Jewish legend, the first cat living in the house of the first man Adam as a pet got rid of mice. The cat was once partnering with the first dog before the latter broke an oath they made, which resulted in enmity between the descendants of these two animals. It is also written that neither cats nor foxes are represented in water, while every other animal has an incarnation species in the water. Although no species are sacred in Islam, cats are revered by Muslims. Some Western writers stated that Muhammad had a favorite cat, Musa. He is reported to love cats so much he would not do without his cloak rather than disturb one that was sleeping on it. The story has no origin in early Muslim writers and seems to confuse a story later with the Sufi saint Ahmed al-Rafaya, centuries after Muhammad. One of the companions of Muhammad is known as Abu Hurairah, father of the kitten, in reference to his documented affection to cats. Superstitions and rituals. Many cultures have negative superstitions about cats. An example would be the belief that a black cat crossing one's path leads to bad luck, or that cats are witches' familiars used to augment a witch's powers and skills. The killing of cats in medieval Ypres, Belgium, is commemorated by the innocuous present-day Kattenstoot cat parade. In the 16th century France, cats would be burnt alive as a form of entertainment. According to Norman Davies, the assembled people shrieked with laughter as animals howling with pain were singed, roasted, and finally carbonized. Jesus. James Fraser wrote that it was the custom to burn a basket, barrel, or I'm gonna skip this one. According to a myth, in many cultures, cats have multiple lives. In many countries, they are believed to have 9 lives, but in Italy, Germany, Greece, Brazil, and some Spanish-speaking regions, they are thought to have 7 lives, while in Turkish and Arabic traditions, the number of lives is 6. The myth is attributed to the natural suppleness and swiftness in cats exhibit to escape life-threatening situations, as lending credence to this myth is the fact that cats often land on their feet using an instinctive riding reflex to twist their bodies around. Nonetheless, cats can still be injured or killed by a high fall. That concludes this article.